Forbidden Planet is the 1956 masterpiece that modern science fiction was built on. But its secrets rarely get told. Did you know its alien score was made by circuits deliberately burned out until they died? Or that the invisible monster hunting the crew is secretly the hero's own dark mind, given the power to kill? 16 facts, starting with the music that destroyed itself. 16. The lost footage. For decades, genre experts talked about footage shot for Forbidden Planet and then cut. Material that vanished after an old Criterion Laserdisc and wasn't widely seen again until the film's 50th anniversary release. And it's real. The restoration includes roughly 13 minutes of deleted scenes pulled from a post-production work print, plus about 9 minutes of lost footage. Effects tests, unused planets and starfields, matte paintings of the colossal Krell machine, and alternate takes of the C-57D landing on Altair 4 and the invisible id monster's footprints pressing into the ground. In other words, there's a whole alternate cut of the film's most iconic moments in the archive. The versions you know are simply the ones MGM chose. The rest was filed away for 50 years. 15. The monster is invisible on purpose, and it's the hero's own mind. Watch the film's terrifying centerpiece. An unstoppable creature attacks the ship, and you can't see it. It's invisible, revealed only as a snarling, glowing red outline when it hits the crew's force field and laser fire. Here's the genius and the reveal. In the original screenplay, the monster was meant to be never seen at all. And it's not really an alien. It's the monster from the id, the physical manifestation of the scientist Dr. Morbius's own subconscious rage and jealousy, given terrible power by ancient alien technology. The nightmare hunting everyone is Morbius's own dark mind, made real while he sleeps. That's a staggeringly sophisticated idea for 1956. A horror born from Freudian psychology rather than a rubber suit. The film is quietly Shakespearean and psychological. The true villain is the hero's own hidden self, and he can't stop it because he won't admit it's his. The most frightening monster in 1950s, science fiction is a man's own buried resentment, and the film makes you feel it precisely by refusing to fully show it. 14. The invisible monster was animated by a Disney artist on Lone Watch, that glowing red id monster rage against the force field, and know it came from an unexpected place. Walt Disney's animation department. When the creature does become briefly visible, the taloned, fanged, bull-like outline, it was hand-animated by Joshua Meador, a top Disney animator loaned to MGM specifically for the film. In fact, nearly every ray gun blast, laser beam, and energy effect in Forbidden Planet was hand-drawn animation by the same Disney artist. So the same studio hands that brought you Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland created the snarling embodiment of a man's murderous subconscious. Watch closely, and you can even recognize Meador's distinctive Disney animation style in the monster's movement. 13. Robbie the Robot cost a fortune, and the man inside was under 5.5 feet tall. Watch Robbie the Robot clank around Altair 4. The whirring dials, the spinning antennae, the impeccable manners. Here's what you didn't know. Robbie was an astonishingly expensive prop, costing MGM a reported small fortune. Figures often cited around $125,000 in 1956 money, a colossal sum. And inside that bulky costume was a real person, former child star actor Frankie Darro, who stood just 5'3", manipulating the controls from within. Darro went uncredited for decades. His identity as the man inside Robbie wasn't even publicly revealed until the year 2000. Robbie was so beloved and so costly that MGM refused to waste him. The very next year, they built an entire other movie, The Invisible Boy, around the same robot just to reuse the expensive suit. 12. Robbie follows Asimov's laws and short-circuits rather than kill Watch the moment the id monster attacks and Morbius orders Robbie to kill it. The robot freezes, sparks, and short circuits, physically unable to obey. Here's the reveal buried in that malfunction. Robbie is built to follow Asimov's laws of robotics, and specifically cannot harm a human being. And because the invisible monster is secretly Morbius's own mind, a part of a human, Robbie's programming won't let him attack it. He'd have to harm a human to do it. So the robot doesn't fail. He's caught in an impossible logical trap, tearing himself apart rather than violate his core directive. It's a remarkably clever detail. The robot's breakdown is actually the film quietly confirming the monster's true human identity for anyone paying attention. 11. It's secretly Shakespeare's The Tempest. In space, watch the setup. A powerful old man exiled on a remote world, his sheltered daughter who's never seen another man, a servant creature bound to his will, a shipwreck bringing strangers to the island. That's not a coincidence. Forbidden Planet is a loose but deliberate retelling of William Shakespeare's final play, The Tempest. Dr. Morbius is Prospero, the exiled magician. His daughter, Altara, is Miranda. Robbie the robot fills the role of Ariel, the obedient spirit servant. And the id monster echoes Caliban, the base creature of the id. The film transplants a 350-year-old play about magic and isolation onto a distant planet, swapping sorcery for super science. It's why the movie feels so unexpectedly literate and tragic for a flying saucer film. Its bones are Shakespeare. 10. Leslie Nielsen is the serious romantic lead. Decades before the jokes, watch the square-jawed, deadly serious Commander John Adams romancing Altera and staring down cosmic danger. And remember who's playing him. Leslie Nielsen. To modern audiences, he's the king of deadpan comedy. Airplane, The Naked Gun. Surely you can't be serious. But here, a young Nielsen is a completely straight, handsome, heroic leading man, essentially a prototype for Captain Kirk, years before Star Trek existed. There's nothing funny about his performance. He's the earnest space captain hero. It's genuinely disorienting for anyone who knows him only as a comedian to watch him play it this straight. The man who'd later spoof this exact kind of role was, in 1956, defining it. 9. Altera's garden is the Munchkinland set from the Wizard of Oz watch. Altera's lush, dreamlike garden with its tame tiger and Eden-like calm. You may feel a strange flicker of familiarity, and there's a reason. That garden was filmed on the very same MGM soundstage using the same set as the Munchkin Village from The Wizard of Oz in 1939. The same patch of studio ground that hosted Dorothy's arrival in Munchkinland became an alien paradise on Altair 17 years later. It's a lovely piece of MGM history hiding in plain sight. Two of the most beloved fantasy films ever made, sharing the exact same floor. Quick orbit of Altair 4. If this deep dive is earning it, hit like and subscribe, because we go inside a classic every week. Now, back to the planet, starting with the vanished alien race you never actually see. 8. The most powerful characters in the film are already extinct and never appear. Watch the film's most awe-inspiring sequence. Morbius leads the crew on a tour of the Krell Laboratory, a vast, still-humming underground complex stretching miles into the planet, machines the size of cities, all built by a super-advanced alien race called the Krell. Here's the haunting reveal. You never see a single Krell. They're extinct, wiped out in a single night, hundreds of thousands of years ago, at the very peak of their civilization. The film builds its entire sense of cosmic dread around a species so advanced it dwarfs humanity, and then reveals they destroyed themselves the instant they achieved their ultimate technology. The Krell doorways are even built oversized and strangely shaped, hinting at a monstrous non-human form the film wisely never shows. The scariest thing in the movie is a race of geniuses who aren't even there anymore. 7. The Krell died from the exact thing that's killing the crew. Watch how the mystery resolves, because it's one of sci-fi's great gut punches. The Krell built a machine that could project their thoughts into physical reality. Limitless creation, the ultimate technology, the key to godhood. And it destroyed them overnight. The moment they could make anything they imagined real, their own buried subconscious minds. They're monsters from the id, the primitive rage and jealousy lurking beneath their genius. Were unleashed as unstoppable creatures, and the entire race slaughtered itself in a single night. Now watch the horror repeat. Morbius has been secretly using Krell technology, and his own ID monster is doing the exact same thing to the crew. The film's warning is chillingly modern. That our technology may someday outrun our psychology, giving our worst unconscious impulses the power to destroy us. A 1956 movie about the danger of the human mind having too much power. 6. This was the first movie to spend real money on serious science fiction. Watch the scale of Forbidden Planet, the sweeping matte paintings, the vast Krell sets, the Technicolor and CinemaScope grandeur, and understand what a gamble it was. Before this, science fiction was mostly cheap B-movies, drive-in fodder with wobbly sets and men in rubber suits. Forbidden Planet was the first time a major studio poured a big budget, around $2 million, an enormous sum in 1956, into treating science fiction as a serious, prestige, A-list production. MGM, the home of prestige musicals, made the genre respectable. Its success proved that expensive, ambitious, grown-up science fiction could work, opening the door for every big-budget sci-fi film that followed. A direct financial ancestor of 2001, Star Wars, and beyond. 5. Its DNA is all over Star Trek, the crew, the captain, the premise. Watch the C-57D's crew, a disciplined military starship exploring deep space, led by a heroic captain, with the ship's doctor and officers in matching uniforms, encountering the ruins of a vanished super race. Sound familiar? Forbidden Planet is widely regarded as a huge influence on Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry's whole template of a uniformed crew on a faster-than-light exploration vessel meeting godlike extinct aliens and confronting big philosophical ideas is essentially here first, a decade early. The film even features a plot about an ancient alien race's technology. The kind of Star Trek episode before Star Trek existed story Roddenberry would build a franchise on. When you watch the Enterprise crew, you're watching Forbidden Planet's grandchildren. 4. Robbie became a star who outlived the movie and sold for millions. Watch Robbie steal every scene he's in and know the studio noticed too. Robbie the Robot became the film's breakout star, more famous for a while than the human actors. MGM immediately headlined him in another film, and then Robbie embarked on one of the longest careers in Hollywood, guest appearing across decades of television. The Addams Family, The Twilight Zone, Lost in Space, Mork and Mindy, Wonder Woman, and Gremlins. And here's the astonishing coda. In 2017, the original Robbie the Robot prop sold at auction for $5.375 million, setting the record for the highest price ever paid for a movie prop that isn't a vehicle. A robot built in 1956 became one of the most valuable objects in film history. 3. Robbie and the Lost in Space robot are siblings. Same designer. Here's a connection longtime viewers of this channel will love. Robbie the Robot's final design was created by Robert Kinoshita, a Japanese-American engineer and MGM designer. And Kinoshita went on to design another of science fiction's most iconic robots, the B-9 robot from the 1960s TV series Lost in Space, the one that flails its arms and shouts, "Danger, Will Robinson." So the two most beloved robots of the era are, in a real sense, siblings from the same creator's mind. And they even met. Robbie actually guest starred on Lost in Space, sharing the screen with his own designer's other famous creation. One man built both, then got to watch his children face off. 2. The invisible monster is scarier because of what it does to the doors. Watch the film's most intense sequence when the crew hides behind the Krell's impenetrable metal blast doors and the invisible monster comes for them. You never see the creature, but watch the door. The solid metal begins to glow, then heat, then literally melt, warping and running like wax under the impossible power of a thing you cannot see. It's a masterclass in suggestion. The horror isn't a monster on screen, it's the evidence of the monster. Footprints pressing into sand with nothing making them. Force fields lighting up around an empty space. Indestructible metal melting from a heat with no source. The film understood, decades before modern horror, that what you don't see is scarier than what you do, and that a melting door can terrify you more than any creature. 1. The template for everything. The film modern sci-fi is built on step back, and Forbidden Planet's true stature comes into focus. It may be the single most influential science fiction film ever made. It was the first to show humans traveling in a faster-than-light starship of their own making. The first set entirely on another world in deep space. The first with a fully electronic score. The first to give a robot real personality. The first big-budget, A-list, serious science fiction film. Nearly every convention of the modern genre. The exploring starship crew, the uniformed captain, the vanished super race, the psychological rather than rubber suit threat, either began here or was perfected here. Its visual grandeur went unmatched until 2001, a full 12 years later. Star Trek, Star Wars, Alien, and countless others are its descendants. For a 1956 film about the monsters of the mind, its real legacy is that it built the imagination the whole genre still lives inside. Those were 16 facts most fans have never heard about Forbidden Planet. Which one got you? The score that burned itself out, or the monster that's really the hero's mind? Beam your answer into the comments. If this earned it, hit like, subscribe, and send it to the friend who still says Robbie is the greatest movie robot. Until next time, the monster from the ID.